Why is this only happening to me? Have you ever felt that way? You give everything you have and still no one notices. You go out of your way for someone and get betrayed in return. You try to live with integrity, and somehow things still fall apart. And then there's the other side of it. A harsh word you said to someone years ago, a hurt you caused and never apologized for, a quiet fear that what you did back then will one day find its way back to you. Do you ever lie awake at night, held down by that kind of vague, nameless dread? You've probably heard the phrase karma, or what goes around comes around. Many of us imagine it as something dark, a punishment waiting around the corner. But this idea carries something much deeper, much gentler. Today, through the very first teaching the Buddha ever gave, I'd like to explore what cause and effect really means, and why it might be one of the most hopeful truths you've ever heard. The Buddha didn't teach karma as a system of cosmic punishment, like a ledger kept by some angry accountant in the sky. Instead, he pointed to something we can see with our own eyes. When a seed is planted, it grows into a tree of that kind. Plant an apple seed, and you don't get an orange tree, you get apples. The cause and the effect are not separate. They are woven together like threads in cloth. About 2,500 years ago, in northern India, a man had just awakened. After years of intense spiritual practice and deep, still meditation, he had touched something profound, a truth about the nature of suffering and the path leading out of it. But in the very first moments after his awakening, a doubt arose in his heart. Can I even share this with others? What he had seen was so quiet, so deep. In a world driven by craving and restlessness, would anyone truly understand? And yet he stood up. I will try. If even one person can be freed from suffering, it is enough. He walked to a place called the Deer Park, a gentle, open meadow near the ancient city now known as Varanasi, where deer grazed in the soft afternoon light. Waiting there were 5 ascetics who had once practiced alongside him. When he had given up his extreme fasting, they had walked away in disappointment. He has given up, they said to one another. He will never reach awakening now. But when they saw him approaching from a distance, something stopped them. The way he walked, the steadiness in his eyes, a stillness that carried its own kind of weight. Something is different. They rose without thinking and welcomed him in. He sat down, and slowly he began to speak. This moment is known as the first turning of the wheel of the Dharma, the very first teaching the Buddha ever gave. At its heart were the 4 noble truths and a path of 8 practices to live by. And what the Buddha said was this: suffering has a cause, and because it has a cause, it can be brought to an end. The words fell quietly over the meadow. The 5 men sat still and listened with everything they had. One by one, as they heard these words, something within each of them began to shift, like ice melting in spring water, a hardness they had carried for years, softening into something tender and alive. By the time he finished speaking, all 5 had seen it too, that same truth he had awakened to under the Bodhi tree. And so the Sangha, the community of those who understand, was born, not from grand proclamations or the gathering of crowds, but from 5 ordinary people sitting in a meadow, finally hearing what they had always been searching for. The essence of what the Buddha taught in that first sermon can be said simply: the universe flows according to cause and effect. This is the foundation of what we mean when we speak of karma: cause and effect, action and its natural return. Cause is the seed, effect is what grows from it, and the law says every result has a root. Now here is something important to understand. This is not punishment, it is not a curse. We often use the idea of karma to mean, you did something wrong, so now you suffer for it. But the original teaching is far more neutral, and far more profound than that. In the Deer Park, the Buddha's first words were, suffering has a cause. Not suffering is your punishment, not suffering is fate, but suffering has a cause, and if you can see the cause, you can change what comes next. This is a crucial shift in perspective. When we feel that life is unfair, that hardship has come down on us from somewhere outside ourselves, we feel helpless. But the teaching of cause and effect says with gentleness and clarity, the state you are in right now has a cause, and knowing that cause, you have the power to shape what comes next. The Buddha also taught, wholesome actions give rise to wholesome results. A kind word spoken today, a moment of genuine listening, a choice made with honesty, even when no one is watching. These are seeds, planted quietly inside you, inside the world around you, and in time they will bloom. Not always immediately, not always visibly, but they grow. This is what cause and effect truly means. Not a threat, a promise. Because it means the past does not have to determine everything. The future is not sealed. Right now, in this very moment, you can choose what seeds to plant. 2,500 years ago, in a quiet meadow where deer grazed undisturbed, that was the first gift the Buddha offered to the world. So how does this ancient teaching speak to the life you're actually living today? Think about your work for a moment. I'm working so hard. Why aren't things moving? We all pass through seasons like this. The teaching of cause and effect invites you to ask, what kind of seeds am I planting right now? Am I bringing care and attention to what I do? Are my words to the people around me honest? Am I cutting corners somewhere without fully admitting it to myself? When results don't appear, frustration and impatience follow naturally. But the law of cause and effect says quietly, the seeds of good work do not disappear. They are just below the surface, putting down roots you cannot yet see. Now, think about a relationship that feels strained. It's easy to focus on what the other person has done wrong. That impulse is very human. But when you look through the lens of cause and effect, something shifts. You find yourself asking, what words have I been using? What attitude have I been bringing? What energy have I been sending into this relationship? This isn't about blaming yourself. Not at all. It's about noticing, because noticing is the beginning of change. One slightly kinder word today. A moment of actually listening instead of waiting to speak. Small acts like these slowly till the soil of a relationship. And good soil, tended with patience, eventually grows something beautiful. Parents, you feel this too. The way you carry yourself at home each day, the words you use, how you show up in small moments, how you handle what frustrates you. All of it is a seed. Your children are the soil. The harvest may not come for years, but one day a grown child will say quietly to themselves, I learned that from my mother. I learned that from my father. And to those of you facing illness or aging or the deep question of how you have lived, cause and effect does not answer you with judgment. It answers with this. Today still counts. You can still plant something today. Every past action has shaped who you are now, and every action you take today shapes who you will be tomorrow. That law does not change with age. It never stops being true. Doesn't that make today feel just a little more worth something? If there is one thing I hope you carry with you today, it is this. What you do today quietly becomes your tomorrow. That is all. Cause and effect is not a warning. It is a light. No matter what has come before, no matter how many mistakes, how many regrets, how many things you wish you could undo, this moment is a new beginning, a new seed, and you are the one who gets to choose what to plant. The kindness you offer someone today will bloom somewhere in some form. The honesty you live with today will in time bear fruit. You don't have to rush. You don't have to see the results immediately. The seed is already working, quietly, in the dark. 2,500 years ago, in a soft meadow where deer wandered in the golden light, the Buddha sat down and offered this truth to 5 people. Today, across all that time, it has found its way to you. Perhaps that too is cause and effect at work. Thank you so much for spending this time here. Please take good care of yourself and of today. One of those 5 people went on to teach 10 others, who taught 100 more, and so the seed scattered across mountains and oceans, through centuries of hands, until it landed here in this room, in your heart, in this very moment. You are not separate from that ancient meadow. You are its continuation. And what you do with this truth today will be seeds for someone you may never meet, in a time you will never see.